Doomsday, but it is one of my favorite end credit scenes of all time. It was the Chris Evans Johnny Storm doing the whole bit on what he had to say about Cassandra Nova. Okay, but Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, we got the introduction of Clea and Doctor Strange and her going over to the Dark Dimension, which is definitely important for Doomsday. And then Thunderbolt, we know, was actually a scene from Doomsday itself, with it being so many months later, and then them seeing the Fantastic Four ship come in after getting the notice that Sam Wilson is suing them for the name of New Avengers. And finally, Fantastic Four is nothing other than supposedly Victor Von Doom talking to Franklin Richards in the Baxter Building. So can't wait to see what actually turns out there. But when you piece all of these together, it really kind of comes out as, okay, these are maybe the only end credit scenes that we can attribute or redirect to Doom. And obviously, if Endgame is going to have anything to do with it, then Thanos has to have something to do with Victor Von Doom. They have to be connected in some way. Thanos has to know something about Doom, and he's just not telling them, or didn't tell them. But boy, I would love it if we actually got to see Lady Death. Even better if we got to see Mephisto. And despite Ironheart not being on this, because I don't think the plot line is going to be relevant whatsoever, I just think Mephisto is going to be relevant. But like, you don't have to watch the entire show. You can just get the introduction to Mephisto in this film, and I think they would really much rather that. I think maybe they don't like the introduction being there, and they're trying to commandeer it. But then again, they could just not use Mephisto at all whatsoever, and he could have just gotten burned in that show, and we could have just left that there. But I'm sorry, don't let me forget, with Multiverse of Madness, there was the mid-credit scene, but then there was the actual post-credit scene, which was the flashback to Earth 838, where the guy that was continuously hitting himself stopped. So any spell that Doctor Strange did stopped once he entered the Dark Dimension, is essentially what that was saying. And I do think that that is an important distinction that we'll need to remember moving forward. And that's why No Way Home is the only Spider-Man movie that was brought into this list at all. It makes sense that everybody needs a watch list for Avengers Doomsday, because honestly, a lot of people are really confused about what this movie is going to be about, or where the lead up even is. From Avengers to Infinity War to Endgame, we had a very clear lead up as to what Thanos was. And we say clear lead up in very retrospective terms. Honestly, again, there was that whole pivot in the middle there, but I do think that once we get to actual Doomsday and then Secret Wars, this look back will give us that same retrospective buildup that was always there, that maybe we didn't quite notice, or we didn't even need to notice. They just left themselves enough Easter eggs to be able to pick which ones they actually wanted to highlight. But yeah, I just wanted to think about the end credit scenes of this list as we get ready for Avengers Doomsday. Thank you for watching. Follow me for all of your Marvel shit. I love you guys. Bye.